Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and let's do a wickedly evil weekly. I've not filmed myself doing this layout before, so that's super exciting, and it also features one of my most favourite musicals in the entire world, the one that I managed to go and see Idina Menzel do in London when she opened Wicked in the West End. Oh, it was so amazing. It's definitely got to be Wicked. But let's talk dimensions for a minute. So I'm doing my dailies on the left hand side. I'm putting in header boxes that are 13 dot spaces wide by 2 dot spaces in length. And then I'm going in and writing out the day of the week as wide as I can make it, just in my normal handwriting, and going back in and fleshing that out to make it a little bit more block style. It's kind of a mix between block and bubble writing, but I don't want the roundness of bubble writing. So I'm trying to keep as many sort of straight blocked ended lines as I possibly can. So I've known for the longest time that I wanted to do a Wicked themed weekly, but I've never kind of worked out how I wanted to do it. It never sat right in my mind. I didn't quite know how to get my head around really bright greens and blacks for Elphaba, but blues and sparkles for Glinda. And then I was listening to the soundtrack this week and suddenly it dawned on me, why not just have an Elphaba weekly layout and a Glinda weekly layout? It seems so obvious when you say it. So spoilers, we all know what next week's weekly is going to be. So for Elphaba, it's on my phone, find the Wicked logo out so that I can begin to copy that into my journal. This was the song lyric that I heard that made me absolutely want this layout this week. And it's the line of, for the first time, I feel wicked. It is a goosebump moment for sure. So that's in there. And then I had some space. So I've got Saturday and Sunday as my dailies in the corners. The other two, I'm going to have a calendar and I'm going to have a goal box just so I can put what my weekly goal is. And it left some really dodgy space. So if you do a Google search of whatever it is that you want to do, usually if it's Disney, you'll find sub-characters to add in. For Wicked, it's always going to be the time clock. So much so that I've now got two because I had two lots of spaces. But that's just creative license. And dun da da da, the most exciting part of this video, I've got new pens! My Faber Castell Pitt Artist black outlining pens that I use are getting really old. And so I've invested in some Sakura. Not quite sure on pronunciation, but they're the Pigma Micron pens. I've got this in a 0.45 and a brush one and a very thin one that scares the living daylights out of me. But I'm happy to report first impressions of these pens, guys. Oh, wow. They are impressive. Really black, really inky, which is something that I love. So we'll speak about these more in another video, but first initial thoughts of them, love them. Why would I not love a pen? Let's face it. And then what I'm doing as well is I'm using my Dingbats A5 pens. So these are a new thing from Dingbats. They've got two colour ranges out. I do need to message them and ask them if they plan on doing more, because that would change my doodle world. But they kindly sent me these over to try out, and honestly, they are absolutely gorgeous. The fine liner end, which is the one that I'm using at the moment, again, really inky, really bold, love them. They're really nice. They just need much more colour ranges. I just need them to go ham now and make as many as they possibly can. So I'm outlining those days of the week. I'm putting little boxes around them. Also for Elphaba's face, you've seen I've not done a black outline for her. I'm going to attempt to do something jazzy. It will either work or it won't. And then I had to stop. So I did a family quiz and then I've come back to it. I've put the camera on and I've set the light settings massively brighter than it was. So I'm going in now with my Faber Castell red line markers, a couple of different shades of green. I've got a picture of her face and I'm just trying to build up that colour. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't, I don't know. I'm happy enough with it, but I definitely think I need to play around with doing that. The restriction with Faber Castells and felt tip pens in general is that the blending's quite difficult with just your bog standard pens, but I'm not mad. And then here's one of the tricks that I used in my Pinocchio video. So for highlighting when you're drawing something that's predominantly black, it's a little bit difficult because once you put black down, it becomes very flat and blocky. So I went in with a really dark green, the darkest green that I owned, and I went in and coloured in everywhere that I thought there would be a highlight, so that when I went in with my black pen, I used that as the background. So that way the green then looks like a black highlight. Does that make sense? I'm going to go in, add in all the different colours now, keeping everything, you guessed it, quite green, because what else is it? It's worth mentioning at this point that I'm in my head as I'm doodling this. I'm marginally distracted because I don't like that the headers are in green. So I'm like, I'm not sure if I like that. It's kind of a running theme. You get something stuck in your head, but I knew I wasn't happy with it. So spoilers, something will have a little bit of a change at the end. I'm going in with this green now and I'm putting in that background. It's okay, but I'm just not in love with it. So I'm going to speed this bit up, I think, because you don't need to see me doing all of the outline. It's the most trickiest thing you'll do. I often get distracted whilst I'm colouring this bit in because it's so finicky. I end up overshooting lines. It's worth mentioning, if you're going to do this technique where you're going to colour the background in and leave the foreground free, whatever you've drawn, the letters are going to get smaller because you're going to lose the outline. So it's worth either A, keeping it as big as you can so that you don't lose too much or your words don't shrink, or having a white pen and making them go a little bit bigger just by going in and bulking them back out with a white pen. This is what I was talking about making a really big colour change without having to do too much. So for my daily section, nice big thick brush pen, go in and highlight every other line, and then it just makes you look like you've put so much more colour on that page, and all you've done is drawn a couple of lines in. Massively something I'm in love with at the moment when it comes to journaling, and I've done this technique quite a few times already. A nice big green background for Wicked, and we're almost getting towards the end. I'm going to put that calendar in, like I said, and then I'm going to have, I think I have a go at like freehand brush lettering. Yes, you heard that. No, well, I did, technically I penciled it out first, but I did it again using the new Micron pen that I own, and then a little bit of definition for these boxes to make them stand out. I think at this point, this spread massively needs more black. I tried to put in a winged monkey as a bit of a filler there. You know what I'm like with white space, but it definitely needs more black. So this is what it looked like with the green daily headers. It's not awful, but that black Wicked logo is so much more vivid than the dailies. So this is what I did. About 4 or 5 hours after filming, I knew I wasn't happy. I sat down and I went meticulously through and turned those daily headers to black. I'm much happier with it, mainly because the balance now feels much better. What do you guys think? Green, black? Let me know in the comments down below. But this is the weekly that I'm going to go with whilst we're on lockdown. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you soon.